Yum, 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 yum.
And welcome to Bacalao. You know, folks, in Spanish, bacalao means cod. And we couldn't think of a better restaurant to start the very first episode of One Chef One Critic than a restaurant that features codfish prominently on its menu, because this is a cod-themed show. I'm Karl Wells, food critic for The Telegram.
And I'm Chef Steve Watson of Central Dairies. One chef, one critic.
That's right. Now, you know, chefs and critics usually don't get along all that well, so there may be fireworks on this program down the road, folks. It's kind of like, you know, mixing oil and water, but that was a risk that the producers are willing to take, and so are Steve and I, frankly, right?
Absolutely.
Gee, Steve, you look like you're itching for a fight already. Anyway, on this program, we're going to have appetizers, we're going to have main courses, we're going to have desserts, we'll talk about wine, and we'll take you to very interesting places to meet interesting people who are making and growing food. And speaking of food, look at this appetizer. Thank you, Andrea.
You're welcome, and don't forget, no drinking wine on camera.
Right. Very good point. Can't drink on this show. We can talk about drinking, but we can't drink. Anyway, what do you have, Steve?
I have some beautiful bacalao fritters with a green peppercorn aioli.
Oh, that looks
And
yummy.
what have you got there?
Well, this is a salade niçoise, and unlike the classic French version, this one at Bacalao, of course, features poached salted cod, but everything else is the same as the classic niçoise. Now, coming up on today's program, Stephen, we're going to be talking with Chef Rodney Bowers, who is originally from Grand Falls, Windsor.
#1 young chef in Toronto, and have some great write-ups in both the Globe and Mail and the Toronto Star.
Exactly. He owns 2 restaurants up there. And later, I'm going to have to make room for this, but I'm going to be eating fish and chips with Les Battersby at Valley Haley.
Formerly of Coronation St.
Exactly. And I'm a huge Corey fan. Anyway, we've got lots of eating to do, so let's get started. One thing, you know, that bugs me, waiters say, excellent choice after you've ordered. They should leave it to me to decide whether it's excellent or not. And welcome to the One Chef, One Critic kitchen. Normally on this program, it's one chef and one critic, but today we have 2 chefs and 1 critic, so I'm definitely outnumbered, feeling a little bit intimidated, but not too much, because our special guest today is Rodney Bowers, a friend of mine from Toronto these days. He's originally from Grand Falls, right in the center of Newfoundland. A fabulous chef with 2 restaurants in Toronto, the Rosebud and the Citizen. And welcome, Rodney Bowers, to One Chef, One Critic.
We're ganging up on you, Carl.
Yeah, that's right. So, Rod, we hear that you like to cook fresh and local. And Steve, that's what we're doing for Rod today.
Absolutely. What I've got today for us, Rod, I've got some beautiful fresh cod. And as you can see how fresh it is, beautiful there. And what we're going to be doing, we're going to be serving that with some of our fresh Newfoundland vegetables, potatoes, turnip, carrots, and we're out harvesting corn now as well. So we're going to add that for a little treat. So what I would like to do is, I've got some seasoned flour here, so I'm not going to season the cod at all. Beautiful fillets, as you can see. I'm just going to casually just dredge them into the flour, like so, and I'm going to put it, just to hold it, into a nice egg wash as well. So, and what I've got here, I've already rendered down some pork scrunchions, so here we go.
So Rod, I guess you're serving tons of fresh cod in your restaurants these days?
Only when the opportunity presents itself. Like, we know how hard it is to get fresh cod in Newfoundland, and it's even harder to get it in Toronto. But normally we kind of get, pardon me, Carl, a lot of the frozen fillets, which isn't you know, sort of to my fancy. So I'll deal a lot with salt cod, and we'll poach it and flake it, and well, we use quite a bit of it in both restaurants, which is
so. How does salt cod go over in your restaurants with your Toronto?
Absolutely over the top. It's,
really,
it's fantastic, and people, I think. people are so in love with, we do cod cakes at the restaurants with a little bit of aioli. And people absolutely adore them.
Wow.
Yeah, big hits. Can't get enough.
So, cod cakes, that's kind of Newfoundland.
That's totally Newfoundland.
Totally Newfoundland, yeah. Not with the aioli, though.
No, well. All right, okay.
So
if I would have put Miracle Whip with them, then that's Newfoundland, all right? Miracle Wings with some relish, and then that's Newfoundland, all right? So I'll change the garnish.
We may even need to explain what aioli is to people.
Yeah.
But it's a kind of a garlicky mayonnaise.
Yeah.
But you've served cod tongues and fish and brews in your restaurant.
We've done the whole bit. I've done jig supper. We've done fish and brews. We've done figgy duff. We've done blueberry grunts. I've done the whole spectrum of Newfoundland cuisine. Some of it to, I think Newfoundlanders have developed such a particular palate over the years that are that is developed to sort of the cuisine that is local here. I mean, fish, root vegetables, berries in the summer. And, people on the mainland are so used to having such a wide variety of Asian ingredients and Indian ingredients. And so,
talking about flavour, could I get you to put some spyglass butter into the frying pan over there?
Absolutely. Butter is my favorite.
And don't be shy with it. It's an all-natural ingredient from Newfoundland. So, and what we're going to do is we're going to saute the potatoes off in there.
Perfect. How's our fish looking here?
Yeah, I think we should be almost ready to turn.
Oh, close. No, we'll let it sit for a bit.
Yeah.
Folks, some of you may recognize Rodney's face. He's also a regular on the Steve and Chris show, which is an afternoon show on another channel.
I'm going to put more butter in there.
Don't be shy.
Yeah.
It's an all-natural product, so at least we know what goes into it,
You guys.
Rod's a big fan of butter. I think I even read a little quote from you on your website.
All butter all the time.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you can't get enough butter. It's actually, it's proven they're working on this in Milan that butter actually takes weight off. It's actually a slimming agent.
Now that's a study that I can
It
approve.
worked on me. It worked on me.
Me as well.
We've got scrunchions here today as well.
Yeah. That's pork butter.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
This fish is looking absolutely amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Rod, some of our One Chef, One Critic viewers might be interested to know how you got started in cooking. You didn't actually train in Newfoundland, did you?
No. Well, I mean, that's all kind of relative.
Put it into the...
I'm going to have a little turnip to these potatoes here. This is all local.
All local. Yep.
Okay.
We're right in the height of the season now.
Beautiful. And some carrots in there.
Yeah, perfect.
Karl, I'm a third generation cook. My mother was a chef or a cook, and my nan was a cook as well. So, I mean, to say not training in Newfoundland, I think it's, sure I trained. I grew up eating and I was in the kitchen all the time.
Anyway, isn't it?
Mom was at Hiscox, right? I mean, sort of the pinnacle of Grand Falls cuisine.
Exactly. So when you started your career, where was your first gig?
My first gig was I went to chef school in Toronto to George Brown. I started cooking a little bit before that. I was dating a girl when I was 17, 18, and her father owned a restaurant, a Hungarian restaurant. And I started in there, and he was like, "You're very talented at what you do." And I started cooking when I was 12, 13, even when I was younger, 6, 7. I used to make homemade pancakes when there's a story my mom used to tell of me making pancakes when I was, 7 years old.
Wow.
Right? Yeah. And then, throughout high school, I was always cooking, and my friends were like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm just cooking, right? It's odd when you're 50 because you should be out, having drinking, and I was always the one cooking, right? And then, I dated this girl, and he said you should go to, he sent me to the best restaurant in Toronto. I was up in Toronto at this time. And I went there, and then I went to cooking school.
Was that North 44?
Yeah, it was North 44, and I worked there for...
and who was the chef there?
That was Mark McEwen.
Oh, Mark McEwen.
Yeah.
Very well.
Yeah. So, I worked there for a brief period of time, and then I was at George Brown, and that sort of got me in.
You got the bug.
And then I got the bug, and then that was it. That was my on the path to culinary.
So what's it like to get staff up in Toronto now? Is it hard to get chefs and cooks?
Chefs? Yeah, they're a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
Good ones. That's a different story.
Yeah. Perfect.
This fish, I think we're almost ready to go on this fish.
So what I'd like to do is just add some of the corn to our vegetables, and we'll just saute that. And what we did, we just barbecued it a little bit. We'll just add that to it at the last minute. And
perfect.
As I say, we're now growing peaches and cream corn here on the island, which
is coming together well.
Absolutely.
It's great. It's all local. That's what I love about this. Yeah.
Just down the road.
Yeah. I love the fact that you grill this, Steve, as well.
It draws the colour to
nice
it, doesn't
color,
it?
Yeah.
And we're going to be serving that afterwards with a little bit of partridge berry chutney.
Oh, excellent!
Instead of the aioli and the Miracle Whip with the relish.
Do you guys go partridge berry picking?
I pick blueberries. I haven't picked partridge berries.
We're in Central. We're really into
the berry picking.
The berry picking, blueberry picking, partridge berry. Strawberries when
in season.
Yeah. And you know how we go about doing it is we have you ever seen those cooler backpacks?
Oh yes, yeah.
Right, we fill those with a case of beer and we go out into the
So you go berry picking?
Yeah, berry picking. It's really an excuse.
They call partridge berries red berries in Labrador. It seems like every place where these grow, they have a different name for them.
Well,
it's like bake apples. You know, they call them cloudberries in Scandinavia.
Yeah. You know, up there in Labrador, they get right to the point with the red berries.
That's right.
What do they call strawberries? The other red berry, you know?
The big red berry.
The big red berries, Unbelievable. I'm going to take this cod out.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You've got two restaurants, the Rosebud and the Citizen. And by the way, if those names sound familiar, they came from Citizen Kane, right?
That's
You're a
right.
big Orson Welles fan.
Yep.
So what's next for you? When are you going to open a restaurant here in Newfoundland?
Well, Karl, honest to God, I've been looking for the last year, and I've been this last year I've been back to St. John's 4 times.
Wow.
In the last actually 6 months, and I am on the hunt to find a restaurant here in St. John's because I'd love to come back.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, we have such fantastic food in Newfoundland, from fish to berries to
wild game,
to, you know, fantastic locally grown vegetables. And our cuisine is very unique. And, you know, I'd really like to come back and do really good sort of Newfoundland cuisine with you know, sort of my own flair and just be back here for...
Now, I know in addition to our great Newfoundland beers and other products, our rums, you're a great fan of wine.
Yep.
You'd had to be if you worked at Mistura in Toronto.
Yep.
So I'm going to go down to our One Chef One Critic cellar and pick out a nice wine to go with this meal. And who knows, there may even be somebody down there who can give me some advice. I'll see you later.
I tell you what, Rod, he's got an imaginary friend down there who I've never met, but he's down there all right.
This is it. This is your break. Eat your heart out, Steve Watson.
Fish. Okay. Oh, Jeremy.
Karl.
How you
I
doing?
got your message about the show. One Chef, One Critic.
Right.
I borrowed some chef gear. I'm all ready to go. Hope you don't mind. And I'm ready to show the world my cooking skills. So.
It's great, but Jeremy, I'm sorry. You know, we don't want you to cook on the show. We've already got a chef, Steve Watson. Chef Steve Watson. He's the One Chef One Critic. I'm the critic. You, my friend, you are going to be the wine expert on One Chef One Critic, along with Andrew Facey. You are going to tell us all about wine. We want you to do what you do so well.
So wait, let me get this straight.
I'm sure you cook well, but I want you to talk about wine.
You want me to do exactly what I do every day at work?
Yeah, afraid so. You cool with that?
Yeah, that's fine. Well, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, well, thanks for being a great sport.
Yeah.
Now, listen, I've got to tell you about this dish we've got upstairs. We've got fresh pan-fried cod with scrunchions, partridge berry chutney, root vegetables, Newfoundland vegetables too, carrots, turnip. We've also got corn, roasted corn. It's just a fantastic plate.
I can almost smell it right now.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I can.
Yeah.
So, well, what we're going to do, I'm thinking, well, I mean, you can pretty much do anything you want, but I think I'm French. I love French wines, and that's my area. So let's do some Chardonnay. And in fact, we're going to do Chablis, unoaked Chardonnay for the most part. Okay. So I got 3 wines here that I've selected. Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
Premier Cru. There we go.
There we go.
So this is William Febvre Chablis, 2006. This is Basic Village Chablis wine. Chablis is the village, and a lot of people stay away from the labels because it doesn't list what it is, but all Chablis is 100% Chardonnay.
Okay.
So this 2006 Basic Village wine, clean, crisp, great acidity, nice minerality to it, not too much. There's no oak in this one, so you won't get any heavy flavors of vanilla, anything like that. Next one up, Premier Cru, is sort of the next level up, the next step up.
And by that you mean it's a little more expensive.
As well, a little more limited, a little more expensive. 2003 vintage, William Febvre, Montemilieu is Premier Cru Vineyard.
Okay, so this one would be how much?
This is, you're looking around 25 for the first one, around 50 to 60 for the second one.
This is double the price.
Yes, exactly. And then you can go to the top end, which would be Grand Cru. Even more limited, even more rare in a lot of cases. In Les Clos, fantastic vineyard. There's only 7 Grand Cru vineyards in Chablis. Well, 2001. It doesn't matter about the year for these ones. They last quite a while.
You know what? I love the sound of that. Grand Cru.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And so appropriate for our very first edition of One Chef, One Critic. I'm going to serve this to our special guest today, Rod Bowers, who's a top Toronto chef, by the way. He's going to love this. Thanks very much, Jeremy.
You're welcome.
And sorry about the mix-up there with the, no
problem.
But
let me know if Steve backs out or anything. I'll jump in.
You're doing great. Definitely. You look fabulous in a chef's jacket. Maybe in another life. You know?
Thank you.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Well, Rod, the food's presented nicely. It's nice and warm. Where's Karl?
Are you boasting?
Down in the basement again?
Are you boasting about your food again? God, listen to this guy. I have a beautiful wine that Jeremy selected for us. It's a Chablis Grand Cru 2001 from William Febvre. So let's try it. Steve, by the way, tell us how you made that chutney.
Actually, it's beautiful because the berries are in season. All I did was just saute some finely chopped shallots, a little bit of red wine, a little bit of brown sugar, reduce that down just a little bit, add the berries to it, cooked it for about 20 minutes, and away we went.
And could you do that with any berry?
No, blueberries perhaps, but I wanted the tartness to go with the fish, just like your aioli.
There we go.
Yeah. I'm going to taste this fish now. Rod,
I'm going to smell this wine.
Well, you smell the wine. I'm going to taste the fish because I am really interested.
Oh, beautiful, fresh.
In knowing what this tastes like.
And the struncheon going through it. Oh, my goodness, beautiful.
That's delicious, Steve.
Perfect.
Absolutely marvelous. What do you think, Rodney?
Can we take it to Toronto?
Let's move Toronto here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
It's excellent, really good. And these fresh vegetables, they look brilliant with all the color.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The corn is, I can't believe we're doing that here in Newfoundland. That's amazing.
Now, folks, earlier, Rod mentioned his fish cakes with aioli.
Yeah.
So what he has agreed to do is send us his recipe. We're going to put it on our One Chef, One Critic page on the Central Dairies website, centraldairies.com. You can go there and get it, as well as Steve's recipe from today. Hope you've enjoyed watching us cook this, or watching Steve and Rodney cook it. I'm just eating. But anyway, thanks, and we're going to show you now how to get in touch with us on One Chef, One Critic. Watch.
Yum, 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 yum. Yum, 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 yum.
For that perfect pan-fried cod, always heat up the frying pan good and hot before adding the oil.
Oh boy! Well, it was a pretty good day for golfing. But I tell you what, Bruce Jones, you murdered me out there, man.
Carl, a game of golf is supposed to be 4 hours a round. We've been out there 6 hours with your golf.
Yeah, well, I didn't know I was playing Tiger Woods. Hey, it's time for some refreshment, and you know what? I've got a special surprise waiting for you in the clubhouse.
Well, I hope it's better than your golf.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Bruce Jones, take a look at this. Okay.
Fish and chips.
This is Chef Wayne McKenzie of Ballyhaley.
Hello, Chef Wayne. Nice to meet you. And you?
You are being served authentic St. John's fish and chips. And I have Fish and chips with dressing and gravy. Have you ever heard of that before?
I've heard of fish and chips and gravy, but not dressing and gravy.
Yeah, well, dressing is what you would put in your chicken or turkey on Sunday when you're cooking. So you call it stuffing, maybe.
And you've got that on fish and chips?
Got it on fish and chips. And it's delicious. But hey, the main thing is, you are a fish and chip expert, because I know when you played Les Battersby on Coronation Street, you ate fish and chips in practically every episode of the show.
Yeah, we did.
And I know you like it in real life. And British fish and chips, they say, is king, but I think our fish and chips here in St. John's is just as good. So, One Chef, One Critic. Today it's One Chef, Two Critics.
Okay.
Bruce Jones, Les Battersby. I want you to taste our fish and chips and tell me what you think of it.
I'm going to do that, but you've even done your history right, because in England it's always a cup of tea.
That's
and
right.
bread and butter with fish and chips, so you've done your history right on that.
Yeah, we've got the cup of tea, the bread and butter. It's all ready to go. And even some coleslaw and tartar sauce.
No, I'm not a lover of coleslaw and tartar sauce on my fish and chips back home, but I know a lot of people do like coleslaw and chips back home, but not for me. It's got to be fish chips, salt and vinegar, sauce.
Okay, there's your
cup
salt.
of tea. That's my salt and vinegar.
I put the vinegar on first, so...
We always salt first.
Really?
Yeah, salt and vinegar.
I put the vinegar on first because I want the salt to have something to stick to.
No, it's all right, because when you put your diggy fish like that, and then you put your vinegar in there, and you soak that with vinegar.
Well, no, I don't do that. I don't put vinegar on my fish.
Why?
Well, because you don't do that.
Well, in England you do. You cover it with vinegar, and that's it. And then you get a piece of bread and butter, and you get it rounded off, like so. And then the first thing you do, I'll tell you how your chips are now. You
Okay.
put some chips on your butter.
Oh, hey, what are you doing?
I'm having a chip butter on my fish. So you dig into your fish.
I've never seen anybody put chips in a sandwich before.
That's good.
That's good? Okay, so now, if I were doing a restaurant review, I would give it, so many stars out of 4 stars. 4 stars being the top. How many stars would you give it?
I'll give you fish 4. Your chips are too well done for me.
Cooked too much?
Too well done. They're a darker colour than we're used to. We have a light chip.
Oh, okay.
So,
I tell you, folks, he is a critic. He is a critic. The chips are too brown, but otherwise it was really, really good.
fish is great. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Fabulous.
Absolutely. It's good. It's the best fish I've tasted in a long time. And it's thick, crispy, and the fish melts in your mouth. And with the chip butter, it's great. And the only thing you need then is a drink of tea. And we've got that here as well.
We've got the tea.
You've done your homework on a fish and chips in England.
Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome to England.
And you enjoyed your Newfoundland chippy?
Yes, I did. Well, I don't know if I'd call Ballyhaley a chippy. Chippy is a fish and chip shop in England, folks. But he had a great time, and he enjoyed the fish. Andrea, we've got dessert.
Beautiful. I've got a beautiful blueberry sorbet, and
I have gingerbread with honey brown ale from Kitty Vitty Brewery.
Perfect.
Well, thank you very much, folks, for joining us for our first edition of the program. And please join us again next week, same time, same station, for another edition of
One Chef,
One Critic.
let's dig in.
Okay, here we go. And this is what you call, what do you call it? Dressing.
Dressing. Choking. Dressing, yeah.
That's nice, but I wouldn't have it over fish and chips.
No?
It's overpowered in the fish.
Yeah, we have it on everything. Everything.
No.
Stuff pork chops with it, we stuff chickens with it, we stuff fish fillets with it.
I'll just stick with my traditional fish and chips, cup of tea, and a round of bread and butter.
The hills are alive with the sound of music.